The adventurers, dressed in a combination of Victorian and Indiana Jones-style clothing, approached the entrance of the ancient temple with trepidation. The temple was rumored to be guarded by a giant clockwork golem, and they knew that they would have to be careful if they wanted to survive. As they made their way through the temple, they encountered a series of traps and puzzles that tested their wits and their courage. They dodged swinging axes, leapt over pits of fire, and deciphered ancient hieroglyphics to unlock secret doors. But despite their best efforts, they could not shake the feeling that they were being watched. Finally, they reached the inner sanctum of the temple, where the clockwork golem awaited them. The golem was massive, with gears and pistons whirring and clanking as it moved. Its eyes glowed red, and its massive fists were poised to strike. The adventurers knew that they would have to work together if they wanted to defeat the golem. They split up, each taking a different approach to try and disable the machine. One adventurer climbed up to the golem's head, trying to find a weak spot. Another circled around to try and disable the golem's power source. The third stood back, ready to provide cover fire if necessary. For a few tense moments, it seemed as though the adventurers might actually succeed. But then, disaster struck. One adventurer accidentally triggered a trap, causing the floor to collapse beneath them. The other two rushed to their aid, but it was too late. The adventurer had fallen into a pit filled with spikes, impaled on the cruel metal points. As they mourned their fallen comrade, the remaining adventurers realized that they were in even greater danger than they had thought. The golem was still active, and its rage had been awakened by the death of one of the adventurers. It began to lurch towards them, its fists pounding the ground with a deafening roar. The remaining adventurers knew that they had only one chance to survive. They rallied together, combining their strength and their knowledge to try and defeat the golem once and for all. They worked together, using their skills to disable the machine piece by piece. Finally, after what seemed like hours of fighting, the golem ground to a halt. Its gears and pistons fell silent, and its eyes flickered out. The adventurers breathed a sigh of relief, knowing that they had triumphed over the machine. But then, just as they were about to leave the temple, they heard a strange noise. It was a ticking, like the sound of a clock. They turned around, and saw that the golem was beginning to move again. But this time, it was different. This time, it was even more powerful than before. The adventurers realized with horror that they had made a fatal mistake. They had not disabled the golem completely. They had only damaged it, and now it was stronger than ever. They knew that they had to leave the temple immediately, or risk being crushed by the unstoppable machine. As they fled the temple, the adventurers knew that they had narrowly escaped a clockwork catastrophe. They had survived, but only just. And they knew that they would never forget the lessons they had learned in that ancient, dangerous place.